So, one of the most common hallmarks of being in a state of emotional repression is not knowing that we're in a state of emotional repression. We often say in KI that if you have buried and repressed emotions in your body, that you're going to be the last to know, right? Because emotional repression itself is like a denial mechanism, yeah? And it works until it doesn't anymore. Think of it like this: emotional repression is the same force that drives an alcoholic or an addict to drink or use until they hit their bottom. But before they hit their bottom, when they're drinking and using successfully still, there's a long period where they're in denial about their alcoholism or addiction, yeah, even though everyone around them is aware. And being able to spot when people are in or operating from emotional repression is actually a hallmark of coming out of or resolving your own emotional repression. It's sort of like an ex-alcoholic can spot an active alcoholic anywhere, right? Because he's been there. We know what it feels and looks like to have been emotionally repressed, so we've developed this radar. But even if you haven't done emotional repression work, or you're someone who's already pretty emotionally aware, there are some more obvious signs and symptoms that you can look for in yourself and others as a sort of litmus test. The first being a sort of obstinate or outright denial, even of the concept of emotional repression when it's brought up. Again, think of an alcoholic, right? It's like, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just having 8 or 9 drinks every day at 10 a.m. like anybody else would. Denial. But for people in emotional repression whose drugs are beliefs, opinions, positions, identities, and worldviews, all of which are the shield in front of their buried and repressed emotions, this is what their state of denial will sound like. I'm a strong Christian. I'm a staunch atheist. I'm a red-blooded conservative. I'm a true blue liberal. And here's the biggest dead giveaway. And I'm right about what I believe. We've found over and over and over again in our emotional repression work that the need to be right is actually the need to keep safe. Safe from what? Surprisingly, not other people, but from the buried and repressed emotions that are in our bodies. Our denial of the buried and repressed emotions that have been in our bodies since childhood is what creates, drives, and sustains our beliefs, opinions, positions, identities, and worldviews. And just like an alcoholic or addict who's still drinking or using and whose family and friends are watching them go down the tubes, those drugs are going to work until they don't. And so from someone who has come off of their drugs and is coming out of their emotional repression, let me just say this. There are a lot of people right now on all sides who are wasted. There's a lot of people who have hit bottom. There's a lot of people who haven't yet. There's a lot of people who've just started to drink. And so I just want to put out there that wherever you're at in your life or on your path, if you decide you want to come out of denial and get clean and sober from your rightness and your beliefaholicism, tap the link in the caption or the bio. Recovery is possible. There's a different way to live.